Welcome traders to our post-week market review. So jumping straight into things, this is where the market opened, as you know from our first couple of videos. We spoke about price initially pushing up and becoming bullish upon market open. Price then sort of pushed up and then dropped back down to test 3,355 as a support area. Price then continued on bullish with price testing the same high where price originally came up to or initially came up to upon market open. Price then dropped down. We created some lower lows and lower highs, lower lows and lower highs, before we then saw a big economic event take place that was actually unexpected. It was some stuff or some speculation around Trump firing the Fed Chair Powell. However, as you can see, the market did in fact correct itself, and we continued this same pattern of lower highs and then higher lows. Since then, price has actually broken out of this this sort of rough trend, with our first high being created here and market finishing what looks to be as our first higher low. So let's go ahead and drag a path and just sort of mark up the rough moves that have happened this week thus far. We're going to completely ignore the economic news event that took place, as it is not we genuinely just don't care about that because it is not normal price action, it's not normal market flow. So what can we see from this week? So we have continued in this bearish fashion since price last tested that initial push or that initial bullish area at 3,370, give or take. Prices then sort of continued all the way down, creating lower lows and lower highs. As you can see, drawing in this trend line, you can see it at a bit of a clearer, in a clearer way. So you can see that price initially created that first high, and then we created our next lower high, our next lower high, and so on and so forth. And you can do the same sort of thing for the lower lows as well. You can see that price has respected this sort of area, so indicating to us, until we obviously saw this break of structure, that price was going to continue on bearish as it goes for the higher time frames. As you can see, price did end up breaking structure at this level here, and we did see a significant movement. As you can see, price ended up pushing way above this level and then clearing the last lower high. So we have now changed trend on the hour one time frame, and we are now in a bullish trend. So we are in a uptrend. Why do I say that? Is because you can see that initial push up, creating our next lower high here, and then price then, instead of continuing on further and breaking past this next lower low, like something like that, price in fact stopped at this level just above one of our points of interest at 3,330, and then continued on, breaking through this next lower high, and then continuing on bullish, eventually breaking this next lower high. So what does that indicate to us? So as of right now, price has flipped and we are seeing some sort of bullish diversion here. Why do I say that? It is quite clear. Again, we have seen that breaking structure and we have seen price clear to lower highs. So we have created our first higher high. So now for us going into next week, the only thing we're going to be looking at is if price continues this bullish flip and this bullish diversion. If we are going to see a bullish trend continue on for next week, we're looking for price to find a significant level of support. What could that look like? So we could in fact see price continue on bearish from this level and then come down to the significant key level of 3,340. If we see price do that, we could in fact see price sort of bounce off of this level and then continue on bullish. If we are to see a support found and this bullish trend to continue, there's going to be a few confirmations that we want to take into consideration. So first is that level of support found. The second confirmation will be for price to break the recent higher high and then continue on. The next confirmation will be for price to break the initial or the second lower high, and then the third and final confirmation will be if price breaks through that initial market open first sort of day leading up to the New York session highs here, so around 3,372, give or take. If we see those three confirmations, so again, if we see support held at one of these levels, support could be found at this level of 3,340. If it is, then cool, we're looking for that next confirmation. The next confirmation is for price to break above this high here. The next confirmation after that will be for price to break through this high here, and then the fourth and final confirmation will be for price to break through these highs here. If we see that happen, price will most likely continue on bullish all the way up until around the 3,400 mark. Of course, if we are to see a bearish scenario, the thing that will, the indication or confirmations that we would look for in a bearish scenario, if we are going to see the market go bearish, is for price to break completely back into sort of this downwards trend. Create a lower low in comparison to this sort of lower high if you forget any of this past information. So if we see price continue, so the first confirmation would be breaking through that 3,340 level in and under this trend line. The next confirmation will be for price to break this sort of lower high that we've created, or sorry, higher low. And then the third and final confirmation will be for price to break through this lower low here. And if we are to see that, price will most likely continue somewhere into the 3,200 region. So for our post-week market review, I think we're going to conclude that there. So the market has been bearish, creating lower lows and lower highs throughout the week. We did see an economic news event take place due to the speculation on Trump firing someone very, very important in the financial world. And then since sort of on the Friday, we then saw a break. Once the London session volatility and volume kicked in, we then saw price push. And then upon the New York session open, we saw some sort of low time frame consolidation where there was nothing really happening before the market sort of fizzled out, volume dropped, volatility just went to a low, and then the market closed, obviously. So with that being said, that's going to be our post-week market review. I hope you have all enjoyed. Don't forget, I will catch you in the start of week write-up, and then again, the mid-week technical analysis video. So once again, I hope you have all enjoyed. Don't forget to hit that like, comment, and subscribe button, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.